Hi, welcome back to our YouTube channel.
I'm Claire and this is Sam, and we're the owners of Flamin Galah Brewing Co.
We're an independent brewery based on the south coast of New South Wales. We produce about 150,000 litres a year, roughly, give or take. It's all sold through our tap house.
Today we're going to show you around the brewery and Sam's going to show you a bit behind the scenes.
So this one today is going to be a quick overview of out the back at the brewery, and then we're going to do an in-depth series of videos basically that shows you how to go from a home brewer to a commercial brewer, or if you're not interested in that, just an insight into what goes on out the back of a brewery.
We just want to show you how we did this, how to help people do what we did basically.
How to get out the back. Have a look out there. Get out there.
So let's go.
Let's go. I'm going to take you out the back now, show you where the magic happens. This is basically my home away from home. This is the brewery. Here it is. And this is my workstation. The brew house itself is PLC controlled, which this is it here. So everything's touch screen. Pumps, I can switch pumps on just via the touch screen. All the fermentation is all controlled through the touch screen as well. That's an overview of all our fermentation tanks. We don't use bright tanks. The main reason for that is every time you touch beer you get a DO pickup, which is dissolved oxygen, and that's detrimental to beer. So one tank does everything, carbs, packages out of, and we minimise that dissolved oxygen pickup. This is the brew house itself. So it's a 3-vessel system made in China. It consists of a 12 hectolitre mash tun lauter tun, and then we've got a direct fire kettle, 12 hectolitre as well. The working volume's about 1,500 litres. Basically, you don't get boil over out of the kettle. So our 1,200 marks here, the kettle volume is about 1,500 litres. Direct fire component is like a jet engine, so it mixes between gas, LPG gas and oxygen and drives it in. That's how it boils the kettle. All right, so this is the mash tun, lauter tun. If you have a look inside, you'll see the lauter rakes. What that does is mixes the mash together, and we get a specific temperature depending on the beer, but it ranges from 63 to 70 degrees Celsius. We mash in there for about an hour, and then we verl off for about 15 minutes, which means we recirculate the wort back onto itself and use the mash bed itself as a filter. Once we verl off for 15, sometimes 20 minutes, depends. That's why we've got this sight glass here, so we can see when the wort's clear and ready to transfer to the kettle. Then basically we just open this valve, close the verl off valve, and then send it into the kettle. Once it's in the kettle, the wort, we can top up with hot liquor if we need to get our desired levels. We've got a sight glass here with right up to 13 hec. Our pre-boil volume for 12 hectolitres or 1,200 litres is usually about 1,250 to 1,300 depending on gravity that we're after, and we can boil longer if we need to get our gravity back up, if we've undershot our gravity. We've also got kettle control on the PLC and here, just so I've got full control. You hear the kettle come on. That way, if you've got boil over, you don't have to run down to the PLC and shut the kettle off. We've also got a couple of manual on-off pumps, switches as well, which are close by. Just if anything happens or fails, we can kill pumps. And a lot of the pumps underneath are operated close by as well as the PLC, so we've got double. Once we finish the boil, then we transfer to the whirlpool. So with the pump for the whirlpool, it's got 28 metres of lift and roughly moves about 375 litres per minute. And what it does, it smashes into the whirlpool and spins, and it creates a low pressure in the centre of the whirlpool. And what that does, any sort of debris, hop debris or grain that's passed through into the kettle will precipitate out through the centre of the whirlpool and sit on the bottom. And then if you have a look in the whirlpool, you'll see we've got a port off to the side, and that's where we draw the wort from. So it's nice clean wort, and all the debris stays in the centre, which we leave behind and then dump out into the trade waste afterwards. And then also we've got down here, I'll show you, our transfer pump, which is VSD controlled, so variable speed drive, and that way when it's running through the heat exchange, depending on the temperature of the day, sometimes you have to slow the wort down or speed the wort up, so we get our strike temperature of between 18 and 20 degrees. Around here is where we mash out, so open up our mash tun, and then we put those louder rakes on again, and we can put them in reverse and it'll spit all the grain, all the spent grain out. You also sometimes manually have to help it, which is unfortunate. There's a lot more to this system, obviously. So we'll do a whole episode on that in another video. All right, so this is our cellar, basically. So our storage uni tanks. As I said, we use uni tanks, no bright tanks. So it's one vessel, minimal DO pickup. 12 hectolitres, we got 10 of them, which is 1,200 litres. 25 hex, 2,500 litres, we got 2 of those. And then a 3,600 out the back as well. We've all got beer in them at the moment, carbed, ready to package. The Husky Vice is still fermenting. We'll cold crash that soon and add the fruits. So yeah, couple through here, tight spaces, always sit in the fucking back. Space is paramount, especially in a brewery. Couple more uni tanks through here. These are all the 12 hex. This is our hot liquor tank, which is 4,000 litres, which is roughly always try and go at least 3.5 times hot liquor to kettle volume. So 12 hec, 4,000, bit over. Also, this is our cold liquor tank. So that's used to chill the wort and temperature control all the uni tanks. In here we've got more uni tanks. These are all 12s again, and the reason we have so many 12s is it allows us to do a new brew every month, just to keep everyone enthused, you know, about the brand, basically. You need to keep them coming back, obviously. Same again here, all stable beer, ready to package. Keg cleaner as well. This is full computer, PLC controlled keg cleaner, touchscreen. It's a very important part of brewing is getting your package right. I think we should probably do a whole video on that. Got a little cart pump, which I love. We have a big cart pump, but as I said before, wheeling it through the maze of uni tanks, you end up with a carb stone in your back and it's not a good day. So this one's a bit better. And then we got Big Donk here, which is 3,600 litres triple brew, which I'll brew into in a day. It's a big day, but once it's in there, it's a lot of downtime. So if you have a look in here, this is all our hop storage. So we use a lot of Australian hops, Galaxy through HPA. We've got Citra, Mosaic, Eldorado, but plenty of stock. So this is the grain mill, which we purchased when we purchased the whole brew house. Auger as well, which runs up to the grist case, which then in turn drops into the mash tun. That's all controlled at both ends because you can always have any malfunction at any time. So they've all got emergency stops just in case. This is 3 units away from all the stainless. Main reason is because it's dusty. So if you can afford to have the space to have a long auger, it's well worth it just to keep the brewery clean. All right, that's about it for the tour. I could go on for hours. And obviously we're going to do probably a 10-part series basically on how the brew house works. I want to do a commercial brew day, how a uni tank works, how to break down a uni tank, how to clean a uni tank, how to carb beer, how fermentation works, how often something fucking breaks in the brewery, which is nearly every day, and how we overcome it and fix it. And the reason I want to do this basically is because when I was a home brewer, there was nothing on YouTube, and all I wanted to do was get in a commercial brewery and have a look, even just have a look in a commercial brewery. It's a lot harder to do that here in Australia than anyone knows, especially me. A lot of sleepless nights when I went from a builder to being a brewer, used my first uni tank, you know, and if we can help one person get their dream job and get in a commercial brewery, well, hats off to us, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, like and subscribe. Cheers guys, see you on the next